This is the last section of this course, and if you have made till this section, congratulations, you have almost done something that nobody usually does. So in this final video, we are going to learn how to deploy a machine learning Gradio application permanently on Hugging Face spaces. So the first question that you might have is, why couldn't we have done whatever we were doing already as something permanently? So if you see this thing, this link, whatever you share, it is applicable only for 72 hours and the interface has to run. So after 72 hours, you may not get it, then you have to rerun it and then the URL might change. You have a lot of these complexities, and to avoid that, in a typical permanent hosting space, you need a server where you want to host it. And Hugging Face, the company, the machine learning company that used to be the NLP company, has made it really easy for anybody who uses Gradio or Streamlit to deploy very simply using Hugging Face spaces. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I've taken an existing Python script and then translated into a Gradio application, and then how are we going to deploy that. So the first thing, if you see, I'm using Gradio and Transformers. I'm installing both these libraries, and from import Gradio as GR, and from Transformers I'm importing Pipeline. Transformers is the Hugging Face library. Pipeline is what we are going to use to build a very simple sentiment analysis tool. So the pipeline name is sentiment analysis because that is the task that we are trying to do. And after we do this thing, we are downloading all the pre-trained models. You can see the model, because we have not specified any specific model. It has been defaulted to Distilbert, base, and case fine-tune SST to English. It's basically a fine-tuned version of Distilbert. After that, we need an important function. So basically anything you want to do with your Gradio application, you have to wrap it around a function. So here in this case, we are doing a very simple function. So the function name is getSentiment, and then it has an input text and it returns as the sentiment output. The output would look like this. I'm not formatting the output here, I'm just leaving it out because I want it to be simple for you to deploy the application. I don't want to take a lot of time of you to modify whatever I'm trying to do. So it's going to be a very simple Gradio application. So the output is just a text that looks like this. After that, our function is at this point ready. So getSentiment function is ready, input is ready, and then the output is ready. And then we have also tested it, right? So I can write something saying that this course is super awesome. Okay, so that's my narcissistic view of this course. So it says it's positive, it's 97% positive. That's a good thing. So it's positive and 97%. And whatever you want to do, like for example, this course is terrible. So probably it should say it's negative. Will it? Yeah, it says negative. So basically we have managed to build a sentiment analysis solution using a deep learning model, which is Distilbert, and then with just few lines of Python code thanks to Hugging Face. Now what we have to do next is we have to take this script, the few lines of Python code, and translate into a Gradio application. And for that, we all know, if you have watched all the videos of this course, you would have probably known that we are going to say gr.interface, interface I with caps, upper caps, the function name, the input text, we have only one text, and then the output text, we have another only one text as output. And also we have the title is sentiment analysis. We can also add a description if you want. We can say add get sentiment negative / positive for the given input. Okay, so we have managed to create the interface that looks like this. Maybe a better way is to do like this. This would increase readability, but again, I don't know why am I spending time on this thing, but maybe. Okay, so right now we have defined the interface with the object iFace. Now all we have to do is launch iFace. Let's see when we launch iFace. So again, you don't have to do this on Collab. You can do it on your local machine, and then finally, connect it with your Hugging Face spaces Git, and then upload it. I don't want to touch my local machine at this point. That's the whole reason I'm doing this, because I assume that a lot of people might be trying to do this using Collab. So that's why I want this deployment experience to be how you would do it on Collab. So we have the title, we have the description, we have the input text. So let's go ahead and then say this course is freaking awesome, and I love one little code of words. That's seriously narcissistic, but I would take it. still. So it's a label positive. We have this thing again, like I said before, we are not formatting the output, so just a text I'm throwing it just for the demo purpose. So now at this point our sentiment analysis application is up and ready. Now let's see what we are going to do with Hugging Face spaces. First, go to Google and then probably say Hugging Face spaces. You would get this. You need to sign in. If you Hugging Face spaces have been recently made open for everybody, so it's out of beta. So if you have a Hugging Face account, you can log in with that. If you do not have, you have to create a new account. So I already have a Hugging Face account, so I'm going to use login. I'm going to use my username, and then I'm going to use my password, and I'm trying to log in. So this is how my initial dashboard or my space front page looks like. So now we have to create a new space. So I'm going to click spaces. After I click spaces, I can create new space. Let me see if I can change the theme, the dark theme to light theme. No, I couldn't change. I hope it is readable for all of you. So click create new space. You can read the documentation if you want. You can read, like what you can do with Streamlit and Gradio, what kind of things you can do, how do you go about it, like the best practices, all these things. So the good thing is all the models that are available in Hugging Face transformers are also available for you here with less hassle. So create a new space. After you create a new space, we have to give a space name. So I'm going to call it Gradio Sentiment Analyzer. Is that a good name? Okay. And the SDK that we want to use is a Gradio SDK. And you want it to be public or private? Of course, I'm happy to be public. So at this point, you can see there is no application file. Your space, when you open the app, it shows there is nothing here. So you have to do certain things. For example, you can clone this repository. If you're familiar with Git, you can clone this repository on your local machine, and then you can create a simple app.py file, and then that app.py file can be served as an application. And after you create this on your local machine, then all you have to do is add the file to your Git, commit the file, and then push it, and then it would come here to this particular folder, and then your app is available to be served. But on the other hand, what we are going to do is we are going to do everything on the browser, because like I said, if somebody wants to try it out just based on Google Colab, like you have already used Google Colab, your local machine is not powerful enough, you don't know Git, you don't have rights to do Git. If you are in any of these categories, then proceeding section is for you. So I'm going to use the create button at the last. So let's open the create app.py file, the new tab, and then we have to copy our code one by one. So you can copy one by one, or in my case, I've already copied everything, so I'm going to paste. So the first line is to import Gradio. The second line is to import pipeline from transformers. Then we have the sentiment analysis pipeline task, and then we have the function that helps us to get the sentiment. Then we have the interface, and finally we have the launch. And once we have all these things in place, you can specify launch inline is equal to false as well. If you don't want it to be in, usually you use inline is equal to false when you are going to avoid the app to be embedded within your Google Colab notebook, like if you want it to be launched separately. So now at this point everything is ready. Let's go ahead and then commit the new file. We have successfully committed, and you can see it is trying to build, but it will end in a building error. The reason why it will end in a building error is because we have to install the transformers library. So even though Hugging Face spaces is actually on Hugging Face, still you have to manually install the transformers library, and also torch, which is a dependency for transformers library. Before we install the library, right now there is an error. That's completely fine. I just wanted to highlight the readme. So if you are using this template by default, you are sorted out. But if you are not using this, then you need to make sure that you have this YAML at the top clearly, because this is very important. Without this part, the YAML part on the top, your app would not be rendered properly on Hugging Face. So you have the title, you have the emoji, you have the color, and you have the app file SDK and the app file, which is actually used to serve the application. So let's quickly go ahead and then create a new requirements.txt file, requirements.txt. Oops. And then we need two things. One, we need torch. Second thing, we need transformers. So ideally we should be able to, so the first thing is they are going to install these applications libraries, and after that they will render our app.py, and our app.py, because we have already tested, it should be successfully running. Let's see. You can never be sure. Okay, it says it's running. So let's copy this URL, go to a new tab and then paste it. Oh wait, I think I got a little excited. We have to copy the entire URL, go back here, paste it, and then see. Okay, it has successfully managed to work, and also it has got the dark theme that goes well with the Hugging Face dark theme that we have spaces. So I'm going to give an input text. Probably, I think I'm tired of saying that this course is awesome, so maybe for a change I'm going to say Gradio is awesome and I thank the developers for this amazing tool. Let's submit. Okay, it's positive. So maybe I can say Java sucks, and then you have negative. So you have basically positive and negative, and at this point you have successfully managed to build a full-fledged machine learning, deep learning powered application, deployed it, deep learning powered Gradio application, and successfully deployed it on Hugging Face spaces. Now you can copy this link and then give it to anybody. If you want anybody to use the API, again you have this thing also available for you. So you have successfully managed to learn everything from building a simple Gradio application to improving the UI of the application, and then finally hosting or deploying your application permanently on Hugging Face spaces for free at this point. I don't know whether they'll charge us later, but at this point for free, which you can share it with anybody in the world. Thank you so much. Congratulations.